The City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Josef Zacher.
Good evening, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 173 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. This is going to be called First Touch. You're like, what? First touch? Well, let's talk about it. A quality first touch is essential in a sport that we all adore. While the term is clearly a defining factor when we assess the individual player, we can clearly see that this can set the tone for a club as well. Today, we celebrate the third anniversary of a glorious day in Seattle that will unite us in song, in passion, in euphoria. It gave us the ability to dream beyond that of any ordinary expansion club. It made a young talent by the name of Diego Rossi an instant legend. It also secured and cemented the revered status of the 3252 as the flag bearers of what active support should be in the United States. Our moment had arrived, and it's clear that the momentum from that day is still in our corner. No doubt we will reminisce about that day today, but we are also blessed to know that the first touches of the 2021 campaign are worthy of our devoted attention as well. Before we get into the mix, we welcome back our crew, our amazing Heart of LAFC team of Christine Kwon, Cesar Gonzalez, Jason Arellano, and for the first time ever, Brendann Matthews.
Bam. He's actually having some connection issues, so he'll be right back with us.
We'll lock him in when it comes time to talk about opening day.
Just kidding.
There it is. He'll be on. Don't worry. Christine, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I think I'm finally finished with my quarantine baking phase. So I'm entering a new phase. And it also has to do with cooking, but I'm going to actually be working my way through this Korean cooking book by this very famous Korean cookbook author. So I know how to cook some Korean food, but I feel like I'm not at my mom level. So I'm going to cook through this book, get some tips from mom, and then by the time quarantine's over, I'm going to make you guys a giant feast.
So,
my gosh.
Yeah. So did you join? I definitely will. Did you join the Apron Club already, or?
I haven't. I should though, because I love food shows and I've seen tons of cooking shows, a lot. So I should get up on that.
Just about to say there's a club for everything, and we have a club for this too. So
seriously.
Yeah, I'm in on that as well. And can you imagine the tailgates? I just cannot wait to see what the food's going to come out, especially the Apron Club. Sorry, I'm just on that. Now, while you're on the Korean diet, I'm playing the keto diet. So there we go again. Time to let it all go and get back to normal. So as my wife tells me, the only time you're really going to get into shape is when there's no season, and it looks like we're going to have a season. So dude, I got to get this out of the way and go from there. Cesar, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm excited. I actually, tomorrow I got some friends coming from LA to visit. So Seattle, I think we're phase 2.5 or something like that. So yeah, I think we're going to enjoy a little bit of time together and have a few drinks. And yeah, we'll see what the weekend has in store for us.
There we go. That's good. It's always good to see the ones we love coming into town, and be safe as always. And do what you gotta do. Yeah. And I hear there's a temptation appearing somewhere near where you grew up. Something's being made this weekend that people can pick up.
Yeah. So I'm originally from LA, obviously, and I grew up in the Southgate. So my parents are still living in Southgate, and I'm from a Salvadorian family, and my mom makes pupusas from time to time. And this weekend she'll be selling pupusas again for the first time this year, I believe. So they're $2.50 each. They're pretty big. They're amazing, made from scratch. She makes everything from home. And yeah, so this weekend she'll be selling pupusas, and Joseph can attest that how delicious they are.
They're the size of my face, guys. Much prettier, of course, but the
Is
size
that
of my
part of the
face.
keto diet or?
No, that's why I
Not
said
really?
the temptation is there, and
Okay.
I have to pass this time. But hopefully, if I'm a good boy and we get to a certain stage, I can be like, Cesar, I'm giving you a call. It's on.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you guys, like, they're on point. Like, go get some. Check out his Instagram. Get the information. It's 100% worth it. Don't doubt it. You gotta go.
Hey, just a word of advice on the keto diet. Just make sure you're eating your fiber. I lost 55 pounds in keto, but I got put in the hospital because I wasn't eating my fiber. So just there's some carbs that have the fiber in it. Do it, or else you're gonna
there's always a level.
Like I did. Yeah,
it has to be. Yep.
I paid for it pretty hard. So hospital visit though.
I mean, I think Cesar can attest to this, and you see some of my old pictures, it goes, that's the same person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was 85 pounds, I believe, at my highest point of lost weight. And then I gained a ton back over pandemic, but not like all the way. Like, dude, I have a lot more to go to get to that. But enough to be like, dude, I was fitting XL jerseys and they don't fit anymore, and that ain't cool. I want to get back to that. So there we go. Gotta make it happen. Jason, how are you feeling, by the way?
Hey, I'm feeling a lot better. Things are going back to normal. So I'm slowly eating better food. I could probably eat a pupusa. Hey, my mom grew up in Southgate, and my grandpa still lives in Southgate. My grandpa and uncle still live there, so I'm familiar with Southgate. And then we were talking about clubs. I got my vinyl for this week. My recommended a band called the Vanilla Muffins. They're an oi punk band from Denmark, but their album called The Drug is Football. You guys, if you like football, if you like punk music, oi punk, this is the album to listen to. The main song, The Drug is Football. They have a lot of songs about being supporters. Just check this band out. I mean, you can find them on Spotify, Apple Music. It's all on all streaming. Vanilla Muffins are awesome. I picked up this vinyl from my friend at Dr. Strange Records. He actually hooked me up. He gave it to me for free. He hooked me up because I was going through some crazy stuff at the time, and he gave it to me. But yeah, that's kind of my vinyl of the week under the Vinyl Club. So shout out to all you guys. But yeah, usually I'll be recommending a punk one. I have my stack over.
Maybe I'm off on this, but I could swear that album does look like a certain football club from England, does it not?
There's an eagle with on top of a football.
Cesar, you want to make a guess as to what that club is? What it resembles?
From England, you say? Eagles. Where are the Eagles from England?
Certain bird has palace in the name.
Oh.
Kind of ruin it right there, but yeah, guys. I mean, it's an old school like Crystal Palace crest. I mean, it's a play off the crest. So it's
ding, Victor.
There it is. Victor throws it out there. Yeah, man. Dude, yeah, you have to listen to the album. It's totally worth it.
Great album, yeah.
Dude, I had an odd run in with I found a bunch of ska like cassette tapes in my garage today. I'm like, well, here comes high school again. But yeah, punk and ska stuff was coming out of nowhere.
5 Hour and Frenzy just came out with a new album, and they just awesome album. And they kind of not to get too political, but they completely called out the far right and like shook them up and just kind of slapped them up a bit. But it's a great album. So if you like ska, check out the new 5 Hour and Frenzy. That's a really good album. I did Kickstarter for him, but the vinyl hasn't come in yet. But that's another great album. So
nice,
Christian.
Nice.
I see Philly down there. He says great song, punk. Yeah. So
I mean, were you one of the suckers that bought like the Punk versus Sky albums like crazy when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I got a ton of those.
The Punkorama was what introduced me to punk music. Was first time I heard "Don't Call Me White" by NoFX. That was I was at Warehouse Music, and I think maybe Rancho Cucamonga, and I listened to demos, and I heard that album. That Punkorama was those were good.
Dude, volume.
Yeah.
Same here. That was a given. That was a given. Like I said, I'm getting all like the memories coming back because I'm digging out my garage and finding everything.
Nice.
Yeah, even a Snowcore ticket when the Ramones, and I think dude, it was Sex Pistols. They played like a reunion gig that night at Snowcore. So weird, but Yeah, high school life, right?
Yeah.
Forget that. Let's get to football, guys. It's all good. We can talk about that on another podcast, maybe for another club at LAFC. So there we are.
FCFC, yeah.
Right. Get into that madness. But music. Growing up, it's good stuff. Let's see. So we're getting into it. Of course, there is a third anniversary today of something extremely special. And of course, that would be one day in Seattle. Yes, that day. Our opening day. The first ever match. As we mentioned in my lead up, we all have amazing memories of that day. You cannot forget it. It's like yesterday. I know trying to get Brendan to come back on. I'm not sure if we get him secured now. We'll bring him up, but I was there. Cesar, you were there, weren't you?
I was there, but I think this is I like to welcome Bam to the show now. I think he's ready to come on, and I think he can start us off with his story of his time in Seattle. And yeah, because he came from a long way. So welcome to the show, Bam.
Welcome,
Hello,
Bam.
everyone. How are we?
Hey, welcome.
Yeah.
Nice, clean, and secure. So, Bam, I'm opening up the floor to you because nobody traveled as far as you did for opening day. The floor is yours. How did this come about, sir?
Well, going back a little bit, I've known Joseph since 2012, back in the old days.
Nice.
Met them going to a random soccer match in LA while on holidays.
Yep.
Stayed in contact with you guys for years. Whenever I came over, always came saw you guys. When I knew LA was getting an actual team, I'm like, this I've got to do. I've got to come to this game. Talked to my better half, and she's like, yes, you have to go. So booked 2-week vacation, flew from Melbourne to LA, spent a night in LA, woke up next morning, jumped on a plane straight to Seattle. That was one hell of a trip. From meeting Rich at a random pub halfway down the street, going to the pub, meeting up with all you guys, getting an invite to the players' hotel to meet the players, waking up, going, it's game day. We can do this. It was amazing.
Is it true that you gave Tim Tams to Walker Zimmerman?
Yes, I did.
In case you guys don't know what Tim Tams are, that is by far the best cookie sandwich that's chocolate covered that you will ever find. And yeah, it's Australia. You got to get them from Australia. There's some random general flavors you might get in the States if you look around. But when Bam comes to town, and when he ships these things, you only get the best. So I can say that Walker Zimmerman, trust me, he downed those things. There's no question.
Yeah. I gave him 3 packets for him and the team to share. Whether the team got some, I don't know.
I'll make a safe bet that, he is captain and all, maybe, but dude, you can't survive a night without killing off a package. I'm just saying.
Oh no, you can't. Once you have one, you got to keep going till the packet's over.
Yeah, it's a rule. So, how many hours did you spend in the air to get here?
To Seattle?
To Seattle.
17.
17 hours. Did you have to stop in LA before you jumped up there, or did you
spent a night in LA, crashing at Jazz's house for a night.
Nice.
Yeah, she's like, "Yep, come crash here for the night." Left my suitcase there. Just took a backpack up to Seattle.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that. I also remember you trying to save me and get this crazy 2-stick in place because we had to Home Depot the thing at the last second, in Seattle. We don't have poles, we don't have stuff for 2 sticks, and so we were getting random supplies the day of the game and get them into the bar. And I think I drew blood, dude. Is that what happened? Do you remember that?
I was quite drunk, but I'm pretty sure that did happen.
You got sliced, man. We were setting up these things. Travels all that way to only get cut by none other than myself.
Yeah.
But dude, give us a rundown on how that day came down on game day. How did that all play itself out for you?
It's hard to put in words. As I've told many people, if you weren't there, you won't understand. It was waking up in the Black Army Airbnb.
Yeah.
Going, it's game day. It doesn't feel like game day. It's game day. We're finally here. walking into the brewery, which was 2-minute walk from the stadium.
Yep. Pyramid. Yeah.
Pyramid. Yep.
Mhm.
Seeing black and gold everywhere. Finally meeting Expo Monty for the first time
Legend. No doubt.
after giving him tons and tons of crap online about being from Sydney.
Mhm.
For those that don't know, I'm actually in Melbourne, the better capital of Australia. We got more things. Meeting him, his lovely wife. Next minute, seeing the owners walk in, seeing Will Farrell there, Mia Hamm, going, "Wow, these guys are appreciating us traveling so far."
Mm-hmm.
Catching up with Rich again, seeing Pat, and then walk into the stadium. Just, I doubt I'll ever get that feeling again. But one day you never know.
Yeah, I think maybe to a final, maybe. We'll get into that realm. Leon was that vibe. I will admit that hit it. But I mean, it's your first, right? It's your first moment.
Yes.
Sacramento, like the tune up that Sacramento. No, this is game day. This is what we're here to do. This is what we prepared for years, right? To get to. March to the match. We get to that moment. Run that down. How did that walk go?
Walking through the streets was fine. The best part for me was walking up the stadium stairs, up those ramps,
Mhm.
just looking back and seeing people keep walking around and around, hearing it just echoing off the ceiling, off the walls. People going mental. People you've never seen before, people you never met before, arm in arms, jumping up and down, singing together. It's one thing that you don't get to do again.
Mhm.
Ever.
Turning to that one random person yelling at each other, not in hate, in pure love. Seeing who can scream the loudest.
Yeah.
How much were your ears ringing after you got out of that tunnel? Because I know
ringing
mine.
now.
They're still ringing now, right? You can remember that. And those that were there, if you weren't inside the tunnel, you were trying to get into the tunnel, it basically became an amplifier of all the sound inside, and it would shoot out from the openings. Just the chance would go. And so everything we did was amplified inside that tunnel. It was insanity, pure insanity, which takes us to when we finally get up top and they put us in basically heaven, right? What was your take on the 3252 then?
Being up there was awesome. They tried to move us an extra 3 bays over to the left into the rain.
Yeah.
We all told them, no, we're here. We're standing here. We're not going anywhere. I remember helping TSG put up their banner. Black Army put up their banner. The massive 3252 banner going up. Seeing all those come to life going, yes, this is awesome. This is what we want. This is what LA is about. This is finally a club for us.
Very different, right? Nothing that you've ever experienced, even back home, right? And just a very different feel.
Completely different feel. I didn't get a chance to go to Melbourne Victory's first game here in Australia. I didn't go to Western United's first game. Didn't go to Melbourne City's first game. Being able to go to a first game, a first professional game of any club, is something that will live on me forever. Seeing 500 people that went up for the game?
At least that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, minimum. Seeing all those people very first time, seeing them grow those lifelong friendships from that. Seeing Diego Rossi's 11-minute goal, going absolutely mental. I went 3 rows in front of me where I was standing after that goal. I don't know how I got there. I got there.
There are a lot of those moments where you don't remember how you got there, but you somehow got there, especially that day. I'm in the same boat. I mean, I started up top with the family, and by the time the 90th minute hit, I was next to the drum center of the section, losing my mind when that whistle blew. And did you cry? Because I know I cried.
There was a tear.
Yeah. I mean,
if you didn't If you didn't cry, were you really there?
Right? Which, well, bring to Cesar, sir. Was there a dry eye on your end?
No, not at all. I think I don't. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last for sure. So, yeah, it's happened in multiple occasions with LAFC.
Now, I can't help but feel myself that when we finally get our first game back in our house after this year of pain and suffering, it's going to feel a lot like opening days all over again. I think we're going to get a restart kind of vibe. Like, we're here. It's been all this time. Kind of wondering if we're going to be able to pull off drum sessions, right? Because it really is. We really do feel like we're starting things over completely again, right? You got to turn the engine over. You got to do what you got to do, which was all that lead up. And it took us years for the lead up, right? A couple of years. And now we're in a situation where it's going to take us probably less than a month and be like, oh, wait, it's go time, right? We're letting you go. It's probably going to be this season. It's go time. Not sure it's going to be all of you, but it's go time. Bam. Whistle. Well, I would say the moment Rossi scored that goal, it's kind of like that. Where were you? What was the feeling? Were you expecting it to fall at that moment?
No, not at all. The way the game had been going, I did not expect us to score when we did. I remember standing there, had Monty to my left, Jimmy and Cassie a couple of rows in front. Goal goes in, hug Monty, jump. I'm next to Jimmy and Cassie.
The chaos. Yeah.
The chaos, the euphoria that ran over everyone was just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, again, craziness. And then, let's be honest, we were under siege, and somehow Simon had the game of his life. We got to admit to that, right? I mean, he was stopping stuff mid-slide, diving, and somehow getting a toe on random, like, it's not supposed to happen that way, and somehow he was doing it. Getting a little lucky, but at the same time, if you make the move, you make the move. So
I honestly don't know how they didn't score against us.
Agreed.
That whole game.
Yeah, it looked like we were going to be toast, and then Torres got smoked on that through the legs, right? Not something he allows all the time, I gotta say. That's a rarity, I would say, on his end to be burned that badly, but it happened. And then, do you think that moment for Rossi, I mean, it's pretty much defined it for him with this club, like, forever, right?
Definitely. He can go anywhere in the world, and he'll always be loved by the black and gold because of that. Doesn't matter who scored that first goal, whether it was Rossi, whether it was Simon, whether it was Atuesta, doesn't matter who. You scored the first goal, you'll love forever. Right.
Divine. If he ever wants to come back after his playing days are over and find a way into the organization, I'm sure that's going to be there for him. It's just, legend.
To me, there's a spot in the 32-52 for him, regardless what happens.
I would love it. Gosh, that would be so cool. It kind of makes this return, and we're all there, and after all the years, and because bigger and better things better happen for him. I feel bad if he didn't. Right? We're gonna have the glory with him this year, but I expect more because the man deserves it for all he's done for us, without question. Other names were made, of course, that day, but really the name that stuck the most had to be the 32-52. Acquitted ourselves amazingly well up there. Turn it around. Now, whistle blows. All the euphoria happens. What happens post-game? Do you remember how beautiful that was?
I don't remember much post-game.
No, okay. Cesar, do you want to give a recap of what the 32-52 did after the whistle when it was time to go home?
I wasn't officially part of a supporter group, but I did walk down with like the rest of the supporters. But if you're talking about walking down I don't know, like all those steps,
concourse, right?
Yeah, the concourse. Yeah. It's like maybe like 10 or 12 turns you have to take. But yeah, everyone's still singing and chanting like after the game. So you just see like a bunch of like their fans, like you could just see to the bottom, and they're like everyone's with their phones recording, just in awe of the 3252. And then at some point, like some of their fans start like applauding at the 3252. They start giving handshakes. So you just basically knew that the 3252 and LAFC itself were, we're here to stay, and we're here with a bang. So just to get that our name out there, and to let them know that we're not joking, we're real fans. We mean it. It's like, we get that word plastic and other crap thrown at us, but like some of the fans that have seen us travel in there, they've got to see that side of the 3252. And I think that day in itself, I think it's we were born before that, but to MLS and to like the away days, you can say the 3252 was born that day.
Without a doubt, it was. And I will say, yeah, again, my feet didn't touch the ground on the way back down from that tunnel. It was purely a euphoric situation. We finally got out to the outside. It took forever. I'm carrying a little one because I took the whole family with, and we're switching arms the whole way because it's taken 5 years to get down there. But singing didn't stop, couldn't stop.
No,
get out of there. And to be honest, guys, those who stayed in town beyond that night, I think a lot of us went back to Pyramid as well. Dude, it was a wild vibe because you kept running into people like that wanted to talk about the game. Seattle fans were just, again, impressed by what we did, about how good our team actually was, because expansion teams aren't supposed to perform like that, especially against that Seattle, that team that, let's be honest, was highly rated that year. Yeah, it's not beyond highly rated. I mean, contenders all the way. So it kind of was one of those things where we had arrived, we were accepted. It was a very good feeling, and just led us into the momentum for the rest of the season. And I honestly do believe if it doesn't go the way it does that day, do we have the moments we have, right? I think it's just one of those moments where it all worked out just fine, worked out perfectly, and it was a springboard for all elements of LAFC to really take off and make a name for itself. And here we are today. So anybody else want to add into the conversation before we move on to the football conversation? And Brendan, if you're down, I'll keep you on so we can add a little from you as well today.
Happy to stay on
for the whole episode. Game on. Here we go. Let's jump into the mix. Now, guess what's going on, guys? We are back to camp. But before we do that, Christine, is there any news from earlier this week? Any individuals celebrating anything this week?
Yes. First person to guess how old Bob Bradley is gets a jar of kimchi.
57.
Wrong.
63.
Yes. Jason.
Dang.
It was Bob's birthday yesterday, which will be, by the time this comes out, well, actually, we're live. Never mind. Confusion. On the 3rd, March 3rd. And he turned 63 years old. He's looking good for 63. Obviously, very sharp. Yeah, so happy birthday to Bob, our fearless leader.
Happy birthday, Bob. No doubt we got lucky on the coaching side of things by having him come into the mix and changing things up for most MLS sides. You don't see us just going with the general boring 5-man in the midfield setup. Nah, we're going to change the game. And he does, right? And he keeps doing it, even at our own peril sometimes, sticking to the game plan, showing what LAFC football is. And as we see the team building right now, maybe this is the year. We'll see how that goes. And so, of course, again, happy birthday to Bob. Let's talk about what he's building, though. Training camp did open this week. I believe we're 3 days into this thing. It's a pretty interesting roster. If you see it, all draftees actually got the invitation. They got the nod. They're here doing their thing. Beautiful to have them all on board. Raheem Edwards is here, even though there has been no conversation about whether he was going to get signed or not. We don't know. There's no conversation about that yet. We haven't heard an announcement. We haven't seen a hat drop either. But he's in camp. We might want to call him a trialist until that becomes official. But, I mean, all signs were pointing to him signing anyways for us. So there you go. Other conversations. Let's see. Marco Farfan and Tomas Romero. Who wants to talk about that? Where are they at right now? Are they going to be here anytime soon?
So they are going to be missing early training camp because they both got called up to the U23 sides. Farfan for the USMNT and then Romero for El Salvador. And so, yeah, they're going to be away in Guadalajara for the CONCACAF Olympic qualifying matches. And if their team, continue to progress in the qualifying matches, they might be gone until March 30th.
Wow.
So, the season starts April 17th. So that's a good, amount into training preseason. But obviously really good opportunity for them. So hope that they do well.
Definitely going to miss out on system play with us, but let's be honest, training with a national side, even in under 23 sides, pretty darn intense and fitness. I don't think we could put any question into that, especially when they're getting live games before anybody else, right?
Yeah.
Probably be in the best shape of everybody walking into the room.
And they're young, so they have to be.
Yeah, under 23s and Romero's like 20, so yeah.
He's a young guy.
Yeah, kids are all right. That kid, I'm looking good at that kid. It's good. And Farfan, we know Farfan's legit growing into it, and he's in a battle for starting place with our side. So gives him a little bit of a bump to get some games in before it all kicks in. Yeah. Should be fun, though. That's for sure. And all the best to those participating in the tournament. How many teams actually go to the Olympics from this tournament? Do we know?
Three or four.
Really?
I think it's 2. Yeah.
2?
So it's basically the winner and the runner-up are going to go to Tokyo for the summer games. Yeah.
So in other words, just hope you don't have to play Mexico in a semifinal. Is that what you're saying?
Hey.
Pretty
exactly.
Hope you're on the other side of the bracket. You might have a chance to go to Tokyo, right? We're going to Tokyo. As you know, the U.S. national team pretty much likes to miss this tournament. I don't know what that's all about, but I'll still never forgive Caleb Porter for mismanaging that whole setup the last time. So that is what it is. We'll see if the boys can make it. All the best to Marco. Hopefully he gets some playtime in there and earns his way to Tokyo for the summer games. Yeah. There was some other. Oh yes, Christine, you have something else you wanted to add in?
Nope. I was just saying yes. Good luck to them.
Exactly. There's also a conversation as well, or news that we covered slightly last time, but we can jump on a little bit more. Cesar, what's going on the youth side of things?
So as many of you, and if you haven't seen, LAFC made it official that they have partnered up with a local club from the Valley, the San Fernando Valley, and it's Real SoCal. I was speaking to Joseph and Jason a little bit about the birth of Real SoCal, which is I played club soccer growing up my entire life. I played for Celtic Hoops, which is from the Upland area. And interesting enough, we used to play this club called Valley United Blast from San Fernando Valley. And I was maybe like in U9s. And then like when I was like U12s or U13, a new club was born essentially, and it was Real SoCal. And what they did was like the creators of that club, the owners of that club, pretty much combined clubs from the Valley to take over and to be who they are now. So if there's a club that did things right and from ground zero, is definitely Real SoCal. They take things very serious. They going from even like from the branding, you go from branding, they took that very serious. They took their marketing very serious. And then they went and recruited, some of the best clubs in the Valley, not only the best clubs, but the best players, nice talent. And then from there, they've grown, and they've been around for, 15 plus years and look at them now. Now they're an affiliate to LAFC. So hopefully this is not the end for LAFC. There's plenty of more clubs down in Southern California that hopefully they decide to partner up or potentially to partner up. Another club that I'm very fond of and, I was a part of, but not only because I was a part of, but I just know that they have a really good system. It's Legends FC from Chino. They have a really, really good development system going. So just to see that LAFC is going from the Valley to LA, and who knows where else they're gonna lay foundational work. It's amazing to see that we're partnering with youth programs, because that's where it's at. That's where essentially, we can get some of the best players from our region, from our backyards, and they can be the next big time players for not only our club but for the US or Mexico, or any other country that they may represent in their future. But yeah, this is the way to do it for sure.
Yeah. One thing that like kind of struck me when John Thornton was talking about it was he emphasized like this is like a force for good. And so we know that the club system in the US is really sprawling. It can be kind of overwhelming. There's lots of different clubs, lots of different divisions, and a lot of times players don't really have access to a club and at the level that they want to play at if they don't have like a ride there and if they don't have the money to pay. So I think that LAFC stepping in and providing some of the resources and access to the LAFC expertise is also a way for them to in a way combat that chaos that plagues the US club youth system. And also it doesn't mean that all these players are going to necessarily go on to be LAFC players, but they, like Cesar said, they're going to develop into productive players, and probably a lot of them won't play professionally, but they're going to develop into like productive individuals through an efficient club system. So 4,000 youth players right now. I think that force for good line that I heard John Thornton said really stuck out to me as like, okay, this is one of the main purposes why they're doing this outside of the existing LAFC Academy.
Yeah, partnerships are always better than poaching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And other clubs have had let's be honest, a bit of a bad rep of poaching rather than developing and assisting the club program. So on us, it's a bit of a change. I think it's a welcome change, and I think it's a signal, to be honest, for the other clubs in the region to be like, well, if this helps us too, we might become a part of that, as Cesar mentions with Legends. I mean, Legends used to have a PDL team, so I mean they've been taking it serious forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, San Gabriel Valley, maybe IE touching base with the clubs out this way would be a good way to do it. And of course, this isn't to poach; it's to develop. Everybody wins, and yes, if a kid finds his way up, then so be it, right? Talent is talent; it finds its way. But at the same time, all these other players who will probably end up playing college ball, in most cases, that's their ceiling, will go into the game a bit more enlightened, you could say, to the methods required. So everybody wins on all levels when something like this develops. Yeah. Good on LAFC for making the move. That's for certain. That being said, they mentioned also how big it is and how many people will be affected by it. It's a huge network, because I guess the West Valley Soccer League is also going to get the development plan as well, right?
Yeah.
So this is a huge base, guys. Really a huge. And again, when talking about first touch, this isn't one of those first touches of the year that I have to say has to be a highlight for us, because this is long term, definitely. Right. On from the development of that. Punk, you read an article that seemed rather interesting, so I'm going to let you jump on that article right now. Go for it, sir.
Yeah, there was an article in the LA Times this past week by Kevin Baxter. Love him, hate him. I know most LAC fans will say that he's kind of biased towards the Galaxy. I've talked to Galaxy fans. They say he's biased towards LAFC. Being an LAC fan, I think he's biased towards the Galaxy. And like Joseph was saying before, we went on, he does do podcasts for Carson, so we see where his heart lies. But he did write an article this past week indicating that both LAFC and the Galaxy are hopeful that they will allow a limited amount of fans into the stadium when the season opens. I know it's not going to be a full stadium. It talks about how the Dodgers are allowing. They've already confirmed they are going to allow fans, a limited amount of fans in the stadium. I've heard it's going to be around 11,000 at Dodger Stadium. That's like 25%. I did the math as you guys were talking. Thank God for smartphones because I wouldn't be able to figure it out myself. But 25% of 22,000 would be 5,500 inside the bank. I don't think for those of us who are part of a supporter section, I don't think we're going to be doing jumping for LA Football Club all close together. I don't think we're going to have 32-52 bunched up out there together. But it is good news to see that. They're working with the governor's office. The article mentions that they are talking to the both teams, both the LAFC and Carson, are talking to the governor's office to work out letting fans in the stadium. But it is going to be spread out. Tickets are going to be expensive. I've already heard rumors for the Dodgers. Like there's like $14,000 tickets for the Dodgers this year already. For an LAFC game, they're only going to allow a little over 5,000 in there, most likely. Carson a little bit more because their stadium's a little bit bigger, I think it's 27,000 in Carson.
Yep.
So it is good news. There's we're seeing a small light at the tunnel. Some of us who are essential workers. I just got my confirmation yesterday from Sprouts and from the school district I work for that I am I'm qualified to get a shot to get vaccinated. So I'm not saying what to do or not, but I think the more people we get vaccinated, numbers, it talked about in the article, the numbers are going down. So it's good news to see that it looks like we're going to have a limited amount of fans. As we saw at the end of the season last year, I think the MLS Cup had some fans. I think Orlando City had fans. Trying to think what other teams had fans, a little bit of fans in their stadium, but it looks like every stadium is going to have a limited amount of fans. So
I think that'll be the case. I actually got my first dose last Saturday at Cal State LA. I actually wore my LAFC stuff, so it was a really funny conversation with a lot of the staff there. It was run by the Army and FEMA, so a soldier actually dipped it in my arm, so that's a difference, right? Federal involved. Federal, hey, check that out. It can work. So yeah, since I am a teacher, as many of you know, it's kind of long overdue for me. So I can go back to work. Yay. Second dose next Saturday. All good. Then I'll have my 2. But yeah, it's definitely, if you're an essential worker, guys, if you're on the front line, it's opening up big time. And I will shout out
Roberto, I really
read that out, guys. Read out what Roberto said for
Roberto.
I love
he said 25% of Carson home games is a regular game for them, so they'll be right at home. That's
yeah. They might have to spin for tickets, huh?
And I'm with you on that, Ox.
And Ox can't wait to see them Kansas City.
I think
Ox. Yeah, I know Ox will be there in Kansas City. He'll be he'll be representing.
Casey had it from they never ever dropped off with fans. They had them from the first day, so that was happening. I wanted to say, if you guys are like, well, can I get a shot? Is it gonna happen? I would definitely say go to myturn.ca.gov to register for your vaccination. Put it in there. It asks you what line of work you're in. Register on there. I did it. It took 3 tries. I went Ticketmaster style and tried 3 times in the same night just to get in. Third time was the charm at about 11 p.m. on a Friday night, and I actually got my shot the next day. Guess I got lucky because some doses opened up. Who knows? But I was persistent on it and got in. Do the same thing. Even if you're not eligible now, they want you to register, because the minute you are eligible, they will contact you from that site. So you won't have a delay in getting it. And go do it. I got the Pfizer one. I guess second dose will be that. It looks like a lot of the Moderna ones, and then of course the new Johnson & Johnson one's probably the one that's going to get the most widespread quick, 'cause it's a one-shot finish. If you're going, well, I saw the numbers are not as good, think of it this way. Pretty much hospitalizations don't happen once you get one of these bad boys. So that's what you got to really look at. That's the big picture. And we've had flu, right? We've got all these other things where we already have vaccines widespread, and I mean, that's the big thing. It's the severity of it all. So do your best to get in there. If we all kind of play along with this and do what we got to do, we'll be back in the stadium before you know it. So please, guys, follow through on that one. But yeah, my turn is definitely the way to go to get all your options, and it localizes where you are. I know a lot of people are going to Fairplex out by where I live. It wasn't available for me at the time, but definitely if you're IE, a lot of them are going to Fairplex. I wouldn't be surprised, Jason, if that's where you're heading to.
Yeah, I live right down the street from I can walk there in like 20 minutes. So I walk. Yeah, I can hear whenever the NHR race is going on. Yep. I can actually hear the cars from my house. That's how close I am to the Fairplex.
Yep, same here. Yep. All the way out in Upland, I still hear it. So, yeah, definitely, guys, go for it so we can get back in the stadium. Please do so. Mm-hmm.
As someone that can go back in the stadiums right now, do it. Just do it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's good for the soul, guys. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Going to watch live sport?
Right. You can't replace live sport. We just talked about that great moment we had. I want that moment again, guys. We need that moment again, right? Y'all want to be there. Let's make it happen. Of course, I know I'm preaching to the choir because everybody in this chat right now is pretty much like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. Once I can get it, I can get it. Totally, guys. It's going to happen. We'll wait this one out. It'll work.
Yeah, I miss watch parties and tailgates. I bumped into one of my fellow Empire boys at work the other day. He was shopping in there, Daniel, and we were talking about how much we miss just getting together. So he was actually the first guy I ever met in the group. So yeah, but it was cool seeing him. I see some of the guys from my S supporter group at my store. I work in the IE and we're in the IE, but it's nice to see them, but it's just not the same not being part, especially watch parties. I mean, we have some epic watch parties. I know we had one with you guys with Black Army a couple of years back, and we were talking. Daniel and I were talking about that epic one at the Tinted Kilt. That one still goes down as like the craziest watch party.
Yeah, that one was wild because it was us, Empire, and
TSG.
TSG came all the way out. And there was some D9 as well. Mm-hmm. So it just became this insane thing where we took over an entire Irish pub. They couldn't keep up with us.
Those poor waitresses, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it was insane. But it was one of those moments where I remember that guy was kind of like, well, anytime you want to come back, please come back. It was wild. Mm-hmm. But it just showed how hungry we were in the IE for this just as much as anywhere else. It made it really look as real as can be. So it'll be back, guys. I know we're going to get there. I see there's a couple comments. I think Victor mentioned that Lancaster has open appointments. I'll call that out. So he says Victor said that, yeah, Lancaster is an option. So go where you can. It doesn't seem like you're all that limited. Even though I live in the IE, I work in LA County. I got in LA County. So just try, just fire it off. Get clever with it to try to put the zip codes to where you think you might get an opening, and they're not too restrictive because they need to get these shots into arms. No doubt about it. Yeah, Bam, have you been able to get the vaccine yet?
No, I'm not eligible to get the vaccine until mid-year. They've started doing nurses, doctors, all the frontline workers. At the moment, a lot of Australians are really, really annoyed at Italy. Mm-hmm. They've just blocked 250,000 vaccines coming from Italy to Australia.
That's
so
evil. Okay.
Yeah, they did it last night. They want to keep it for themselves. That was the AstraZeneca shots. So at the moment, we've only started doing vaccines in the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Wow, kind of late in the game, but you guys have had the control to limit this really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a snap 5-day lockdown in my state 2 weeks ago because the UK strain got out of the hotel quarantine, but that got contained. No new cases in the last 6 days, no new deaths in the last 6 months.
Doing it the right way. Our side, I mean, our only surviving thing we can do is get this vaccine at this point, let's be honest. It's a little different here, I guess. We just don't like to be restricted that much, and so there we are. I did want to throw out my prayers and thoughts for Mo, Vice President of 3252. He's in hospital right now, battling, and so on our end, we're praying for you, brother. We hope you get out. I know it's been an absolute battle for you. but we know you're strong. We know that you're a fighter, and just know we're praying for you, man, and we're here for you. Whatever you need, part of LAFC family's here. That's for sure. And I know the 3252. I've heard it already. The wheels are moving. We're gonna do what we can for one of our brothers who's in the struggle right now. That's for sure. Let's see. Gerard Galvanoff says CVS drive-through has availability. Yeah, guys, again, get it. We have real. It's real. We had our own members suffering. Be a part of the solution. That's for certain. There it is. So do it, guys. On that note, we're going to definitely move on right now to the next talk of football because there's some speculation. I know when Pat was on here, we were talking about Taylor Twellman and the Steve Cherundolo conversation. And of course, the conversation was quickly switched to, that Taylor Twellman and then, that Alexi Lawless. As much as we aren't the greatest fans of how they do their business or the rumors they like to throw out, guess what? This rumor doesn't die. In fact, it seems to intensify like a hurricane hitting the Gulf. It's like that. It's something that's spinning. So at this point, we have the Twellman rumor. We have Bild now in Germany. And we, of course, you can't beat this source, right? I'll just say this. From his lips to our hopes, Dolo may be the man that our lads will use to develop in the USL. The man himself mentioned to Bild that he's coming to Las Vegas to manage. It's kind of a hard one to deny. Both Las Vegas and LAFC have still been mum and quiet about the conversation, but if the man himself has made that point, I mean, guys, what's your take on this? If he's saying he's already heading stateside,
it's happening.
It's happening, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but the question is, do you think it's for us or just Las Vegas?
I think if it's gonna go through, to me, I'm taking it as maybe he's the next man up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Dolo, you got to know that there's been rumors of him coming to MLS for a while now, and him wanting to come back stateside to create a career for himself as a head coach in MLS. So I think this is one of those things where he's found a club that'll take him. Again, we don't know if that's on our pay grade or theirs, but I think, the man has said he's coming. He's definitely coming to Vegas to coach in the USL. Is it a stepping stone? Yeah, I think it is a stepping stone. The question is, where is that stepping stone going to be? Is it going to be to us as an understudy for Bob when Bob one day decides he's going to move on? Or is it going to be Dolo's, going to work with us if that's the case, and then he moves on to another MLS side? You never know. You just know that he has said in the past he wanted to come stateside. It's come out, that was his intention, and now he's talking to Bild. And if you guys know Bild, it's pretty darn reputable rag, you could say. Yeah, this is a hard one to deny. Now, Angels on Parade jumped on this as well. Shout out to Alicia, talking about the same thing and also mentioning some of the details that Bild had to say. Now, again, this is rumors, not confirmed, but this is pretty wild. Apparently, they're suggesting that the Las Vegas Lights and LAFC talent, which of course would be our talent, they just happen to play under the lights when they play, will train in Los Angeles at our training center and then travel to either Vegas or whatever away destination it might be for their USL matches.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense. And this is a fantastic opportunity for him. Like, he gets to take charge and also revamp a USL team in the system of LAFC. And he obviously already comes from a very strong system. He has a ton of experience, obviously, in the Bundesliga, some with the USMNT, history with Bob. So if they're also training during the week at the LAFC facilities, I think that's a win-win on both sides. And whether or not he's going to be, the heir apparent to Bob, I think only time will tell. But even for the time present, this seems like a fantastic opportunity for him, and also for us to, move our younger guys the guys that we're not so sure about over to that side and vice versa, to make sure that we're really developing everybody to their top potential.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally.
a 30-man roster means that pretty much every player could be under contract with LAFC. Am I right in this?
Yeah. Currently.
Seems like that. Christine, excellent point. I think this is essential for guys like Duenas, guys like Romero. If this is happening, now they get first-team football in the USL. And if you've seen the division that the Vegas Lights are in, I think every team in that division is solid this year.
Yeah.
They really are. It's a strong division. They're going to struggle simply because of the travel, I think. But if it's real, if this is legit, this is hard football they're going to be playing. It's not a pushover league, guys. This isn't USL waste your time football. No, this is legit. The USL's jumped up by major heights. So
Yeah.
good news for all of us. Brendan, you wanted to add in, right?
Yeah, going on Christine's thing, if they are training out of the LAFC camp in LA, I can see some 20-minute 11-on-11 scrimmages, us versus them.
It could be back-to-back training sessions where there's a carryover for a certain time period, right?
Yeah.
And then they can take care of their tactics on game day and, as their prep as they leave. Now, let's be honest, a home game in Vegas, a flight to Vegas is what, an hour?
Like 45 minutes, yeah.
It takes me longer to drive to our own stadium from home. Like, this is killer. This is good. If this is real, it's good. The only thing I worry about is how's Vegas going to take to this? Like, how are the fans there going to take to it if they become basically the LAFC junior side just branded with their local team? I'm going to jump on that one there. Cesar, what do you think?
I could see the pros and cons to it, but more so the pros. Just because Las Vegas, we hear, you hear the city Las Vegas and you automatically think, partying and this and that, right? So that's kind of like what the Raiders had to kind of think about, moving to Vegas. Same thing for, the Golden Knights to be like, we're going to have a hockey team in Vegas. So these are all things that these teams are considering. So there's some of that identity issue with being part of Vegas. And that's what Las Vegas Lights has. So to have the chance to have the identity of something like LAFC, and still represent the city of Vegas somehow, some way. And I get it, that they're only going to be playing there, but let's be honest, who's going to their training sessions? No one's, they don't even care where these guys are going to live. It's not like they're going to be outside their houses every morning asking for an autograph or, we're not even doing that in LA. So, at the end of the day, I think the fans just want soccer, no matter what it is. So I think having that, that black and gold LAFC brand or backing will help them in a positive way more than a negative way, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a huge come up for them. Organizationally, they're going to have way more resources. And their players are just going to be better. They're going to have a really good coach. They're going to play better. And I think in terms of identity-wise, I think that's secondary. I think if I was a Las Vegas Lights fan, I would be definitely hoping for this to be true and confirmed.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is real. I mean, it sounds like it is, but again, if there's no confirmation, there's no story in it, right? Not yet. The rumor was that they had submitted it to the league and USL has to approve it. Of course, it's a hard decision to make for USL because the minute you connect rosters from two different clubs, they're not eligible for the Open Cup, right? There's certain competitions they can't be a part of, but honestly, who cares about Open Cup except for maybe the Final Four each year? They care, right? You get to the semis, then it matters. Otherwise, nobody's really paying attention to it till the absolute end. We care, right? It's something to win. I believe in it, but it's lost its teeth over the years. That's for certain. So that might be lost, but at the same time, knowing that there's a chance that on the weekend, say you may have a midweek game with Las Vegas, and there's a chance that if you're really impressing with Vegas, that somehow that weekend, guess what? You might get minutes at LAFC. Two-way contracts, right? I mean, it's going to happen that way. It's not even a two-way contract. It's a part of our club, so it's not going to be a big deal. They did also mention the rumors were that all financial situations for Vegas are going to be handled by the Vegas Lights themselves. So they could do their promos, still wear their colors, still trot out the llamas like they love to do, and their Elvis impersonators. They can still get the vibe of it all on game day. But personnel-wise, they don't have to worry at all in terms of what the on-field product's going to be. Let's see what happens. I mean, it does feel a lot like AHL, NHL vibes to me when I'm seeing this. Just the color scheme would be a little different on game day. We'll see what happens. It'll be cool. If it does happen, it's going to be really cool. And I also think that our 30-man roster will actually look like a legit 30-man roster. We'll see a little bit more talent brought in by us as well because we're developing players. So this should be good on all accounts. And yeah, Dolo, in case you didn't know, he's currently an assistant for the German national team right now on the youth level. So pretty much he loves being an assistant. He's been an assistant forever, and those guys tend to put in a ton of work for their sides and run the day-to-day training operations in many cases. So development, that's his wheelhouse, guys. It'll be good. Anybody else want to add anything to that conversation or that rumor?
The only thing I could see is how much would it kill the chances of Vegas getting an MLS side?
I don't know. With Sacramento dying off, potentially, we'll talk about that too. I could see MLS quickly looking for a place to land and going, well, Vegas wants in. They've wanted in for a long time.
Phoenix wanted in.
Yeah, Rising wanted in. I think they still do. So I do think Vegas is in the running, and maybe if we're taking the day-to-day operations in a minor league side, the Lights to them are kind of like whatevs. They can move on and maybe move them back to LA if they need to, or IE or something like that. If as time develops, they might feel more comfortable like moving somewhere else in SoCal, and then MLS wouldn't even think twice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All wins on all occasions. Of course, brings us to that next conversation outside the Lights. What is going on in Sacramento? Anybody want to tackle that guy there? The Sacramento situation?
Well, the majority owner just he decided just to not do it. He just said, you know what, I'm not in. I feel bad I know there was a lot of supporters up there that were really excited and really so gun-ho. They already get supporters up. They already had a good amount of supporters excited for this. Feel bad for them. But I think, I guess COVID has a lot to do with it just because there's no money coming in. I feel bad for the supporters that put so much time and effort into it. We know what that's like. The time and effort we put into getting our team. I can't even imagine how that feels right now. They didn't even get one game. At least we've supported teams that lasted, 10 years or whatever. At least we got like a couple good seasons out of that team. But they didn't even get that. So I don't know if they're going to even be able to keep the USL team.
It's horrid because I've stood with the Tower Bridge Battalion. I've stood with these guys when they came to play against Carson too. And Carson's going to get my licks in, right? They're legit. Like, they're definitely dialed in. They're doing it the right way. Everything looked right. Stadium site was decided upon. We went up there. Honestly, 3252's like big moment of practicing before opening day was against Sacramento Republic. We did a road trip up there. We know these people. We know there's great people up there. We know they've been trying for a decade to get an MLS. Really, they kept getting passed over year after year to the point of being ridiculous, and they finally got this opening because they found the right ownership group and the right investors because they kept being told, you need to add investors, And they did exactly what MLS wanted, and it turns out said investor, he's bolted. The conversation right now is that the city is trying to work with MLS to try to find a way back, to find a way maybe to delay it down the line and find another investor. But as of right now, it's DOA, right? It's done. take it off the list. There's not a date for it to come back until things get fixed. Will it ever happen? Who knows? Of course, there's a lot of other cities going, well, we're ready for you. So we'll see what happens there. Again, sad news for Sacramento. We feel really bad for them. But now it's creating this really interesting situation. Even for MLS, how much money did MLS lose because of this, right? They get a huge fee that now isn't going to be one, right? No team, no bid. You lose out. Tough. So yeah, something's going to get worked out. I got to pray that somehow, some way, within 5 seasons, we'll see a Sacramento team, but you never know. You never know. Let's see other things that we were going to talk about today. Preseason updates. Cesar, what can you give us right now into preseason? I know we talked a little bit about it, but what have you seen so far that stands out to you?
Not much. I mean, the one thing that did stand out to me is haven't seen any sightings of Vela at these, optioned workouts that LAFC has. I've seen posts of him still, enjoying his vacation. So other than that, you see like videos of the kids, at practice, having fun, getting some touches in, some fitness. Other than that, yeah, there's hasn't been much going on. I think March 8th is when, we'll see a lot more faces at practice. We'll see a lot more videos coming in of, like videos we used to see one-on-one scrimmage sessions, set pieces, things of that nature. So until now, there hasn't been anything like that. I know that if you guys do follow them on social media, they actually had some fun with it today. And then they asked, what would you guys like to see from practice? Or what would you guys like to see? So it seems like there's like someone like with like a camera attached to them. I don't know what's going on, but it looks pretty cool. And so they basically asked the fans, what would you guys like to see at practice? There's a lot of cool replies on there. People do want to see a little bit of everything, obviously. So it should be something new being implemented in the marketing way, I would say. But I think it should play out well with the fans and the players themselves, because it looked like it was a lot of fun. So and then I'd just like to give a shout out to Bryce for that little cheeky stuff he's doing at practice to Blackman, getting them. And then Blackman tweets out that he's like, basically like, I'll get you next time or something like that. So, that chemistry that is there now, hopefully it just keeps building up, and it goes a long way. Believe it or not, those little details between players, it goes, like I just mentioned, goes a long way.
It's important that you see the camaraderie, and I think it's because there's so many coming back this year, right? Not that many trialists at all, that they're tight, and they've been through one hell of a year. So I think that adds in as well. No, it's good to see it. Good chance probably Vela's got to just sit in quarantine because he's come back the latest probably from all his vacationing and enjoying time with the wife and family. Yeah, honestly, if you really want to follow Vela, it's kind of like if you want to follow me, follow my wife's Instagram, and you know what I'm doing. Very much Vela's in the same, y'all laughing at me because you know that. Same thing, like he's not really active on social media, but she very much is, and he's totally on it. So you can see, he's kind of enjoyed a good off season. Let's be honest, they've all earned it after playing all the way into December. So get your quarantine. We know you'll be back. You think he's gonna be all hairy like he was last time? You remember all the crazy hair that he had going on?
Nah, he looks clean cut in those in his recent pictures with his wife. So he looks fit. I know Roberto's asking, hope he's staying fit. He looks fit based off the pictures. Unlike I've seen some other pictures of some players not looking too fit, but he looks pretty fit. I mean, but I hope he's been taking care of the knee first and foremost.
Right.
Definitely.
Just getting healthy. That's all that matters. Mm-hmm. We know what he's going to do on game day. It's just stay fit, be ready. And if he doesn't have to be in contact training and we have to put him in bubble wrap to make that happen, I'm okay with that. We just need him ready to go for game day. Same with Roasty. Same with the usual suspects.
Yeah. His type of staying fit is a lot different from, the Tristan Blackmans, the Kim Moon Hwans, the Eddie Seguras. Like, their staying fit is a lot different from Carlos Vela, just because we know what Vela can do. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Roberto, for sure. So, but just keep that in mind, that I think the knee is what we want to take care of here.
Yeah, exactly. Ease into this. It's going to be a long year. A long year, guys. It's going to be a full season, no breaks. It's looking like something to look a little halfway normal for all of us. Back in the house, back into a full season. So, yes, ease into this one. That's fine by me. I like what Victor's talking about, how he wants to see entire scrimmage footage. He also, this is a funny comment. He basically said, so the northwest corner of the soccer field allows you to see the practice. Safety guy Paul's the man, by the way, just says not to record. Right, dude. Right. You don't want people recording training. It could be Carson. You never know. So you don't mess with that stuff. It would be really cool, though, because every year we kind of get this vibe of maybe an open training session that we'd see at the stadium, right? That was one of those season ticket holder things. It would be kind of cool to see like a one day at LAFC training, like go live on social media and just guys get their moments on it, drop in from funny conversations, and it would be kind of a cool day just to see that as kind of a goof off kind of thing, and everybody kind of see the day in the life of, but from a social media standpoint. Think about it. That'd be kind of cool.
What should happen? Do a vote. Everyone picks a player. That player wears a body cam all day.
Oof. Yeah. And then he becomes a goalkeeper and we just get terrified by the Zach Abdel training methods and go, okay, I never want to be a professional goalkeeper after seeing what Zach Abdel does with these guys. Yeah, we'll get one of those. By the way, his training sessions are really cool and intense. So that's why I'm saying it. It would be cool to see what he's doing too, because good stuff. Hooligan Ox says, I'd be glad just to get a glance of training. Agreed. Footage is always a good thing. Let's be honest. Imad's probably out there and you're going to get some good stuff soon enough, right? I mean, we have to assume this is happening.
It's just something that reminds me of like that comment itself is like, I wish like, we could get a small glance, and it's true, because in practice is where things happen that you obviously won't see like on game day. So like to see some of these players, because like, a lot of people ask questions like, oh, well, why is this player getting the start? Or like, why is this player still starting? Like, you know what? Like in training, he's probably busting his butt off. He's probably looking the best in training. And there's just a lot that you can obviously get from a training session and itself. And I know that game situations are a lot different from training, but training does prepare you for game situations. So yeah, just getting a glance to see like the things that we don't get to see would be awesome, just to see why Bob does take some of these decisions that he does.
Yeah, and 3250 got a chance to sit in for training. I think it was the one right before we played the Galaxy last year. And we actually sat through the whole thing and got a really good experience seeing how the youth develop with the big guys and kind of take them under their wing. Little things like that. It would be cool to see. I also, you got to think this is early training. They probably trying some things they don't want us all to see. Even as individual players, you take extra chances or do extra things to experiment a bit and maybe play in positions you're not too familiar with, so you don't really want to get assessed by the general public playing in something you're not too familiar with doing. Because there is definitely a learning curve with Bob's system. Every player has said that it's expected, so you don't want to get kind of exposed to the general public while you're trying to adjust into a new system. Makes sense. Still, though, we want to see the fun and want to see at least some footage of Kim doing what Kim does best, right? You want to see him bombing down the wing and doing it. So, yeah, let's hope for the footage to come soon and maybe some wide open, fun training session for all of us to see. Hope you hear me, LAFC. Be good stuff. Roster info. Should I tell the guys about the roster situation? Because it's a little bit interesting this year. Kind of got this from Charlotte themselves. Since it's their first year in the league, they decided to tell everybody everything. It's kind of funny on their website about how everything works, including TAM, GAM. If you want to take a look at it and get good light reading to fall asleep, go check out what they're doing on there. But I will tell you this, and this is how we know it's going to open up pretty well for us. 30-man roster, 18 on match day. Pretty straightforward, right? Senior roster is slots 1 to 20. That's where you're going to see like the TAM and GAM kicking in. You're going to see the DP slots 1 to 20. 21 to 24 is considered supplemental roster. There's limits to how much you can pay those guys. I believe last year was about $70K. And then you have the reserve roster, which is 25 to 30. Players must be, of course, under the age of 24. Spots 29 and 30 must be homegrown players. Well, guess what, guys? We're lucky because we've got, 3 homegrowns already? So we're compliant. It's fine. And, oh, yeah, by the way, our homegrowns can actually, hold their own and play as starters on the big team. So,
and then we just picked up another 2, Farfan and Thomas Romero. They're considered homegrowns.
We bought homegrowns. Check that out, guys. Thorrington doing what Thorrington does best, doing things a little bit different, a little bit special. So 5 homegrowns on one roster?
Yeah. I think it's 6, but I might be wrong, so I'm gonna go with 5 for sure.
Yeah, I think safety's sake says 5. It could be 6. We could all be wrong on this thing, but dude, that's just a beautiful thing. Do you think we're gonna see any odd trialists show up out of nowhere for training at all in this setup?
No
new faces, right?
The only new faces we'll get, it's gonna be in the summer, like we keep mentioning, after we have an open DP spot. Other than that, I don't think so. I think we're rolling with what we have.
Right. Do you think enough guys left, I think the young kids could probably stay on, right?
Yeah. And it's gonna be a short but stacked season, just because it's less weeks in the calendar. But if we don't play the US Open, it's 34 games only. So even that's a big question mark still, just because with the whole COVID thing, games might get suspended or postponed or canceled. So 34 games might be it for us this year. So I think with the current squad we have, I think we could just potentially have a solid 18 and just roll with them the whole 34 matches.
Yeah, I think we can kind of see it already play itself out because we're so deep this year, right? I mean, the 18 is kind of obvious at this point.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful that we were so settled. Settled and angry. And Roberto Espinosa actually mentions, he goes, any word on if we were playing in the Open Cup?
So actually today there was actually some news that MLS is trying to decide how they're going to choose the MLS participants. So it's interesting in the first reporting that came out today. And essentially what the first report was, what they'll try to do is get the standings basically of overall, all 26, 2017s, whatever there is in the league currently, and take their first 3 matches of last year. And, the ones that got the most points would automatically qualify. So I think when I was reading, and even when I looked at the standings for the first 3 matches of the season, we were, and I think only 8 MLS clubs are going. So we're at the 8th spot, but we're tied with 3 other clubs. So depending on how they want to modify this tiebreaker, LAFC has a chance of making it. But it's the only way we can make it is if they decide who scored the most goals in their first 3 matches, which I think we scored 7. So that puts us in a good position. But if they go with goal differential, I think we're at a +2 or +1. Or plus something like that, just because of that 3-3 crazy match against Philly that we conceded so many goals in that match. But yeah, so essentially there is a chance, but there's also not a chance of us going. So it's still up in the air as of right now. But my gut feeling tells me that MLS is going to try to find a way to get us in there.
You can't help but feel like it, right?
Yeah.
It'd be crazy not to. We don't have an international tournament to play in. We don't have anything to play in except for league and that. Like, it would be absolutely absurd. Agreed, Victor. We need an organized demonstration if we don't get the spot.
Yeah.
Yes. The Don would never hear the end of it if this happens. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, he will never hear the end of it regardless, just because of whatever club is left out, they're gonna feel like they got cheated out or whatever. Honestly, in my honest opinion, I don't think like we deserve to be in there just because of how 2020 played out for us. But based off of like, I know what we can freaking do. I think we should be in there. I think, we power rankings, I put us at number 2 for right now, just because I'll give that respect to Columbus, but I think we're a close one. Like, I think we're just right behind them by not even by. I don't even think the gap is that big between Columbus and LAFC. The only gap is that they got the MLS Cup and we don't. Other than that, I think player by player, position by position, I think we're right up there with them. So hopefully the soccer gods help us and get us in the US Open Cup, because I think that could be our first trophy.
I'm completely confident that could definitely be our first trophy. Outside of winning the Supporter Shield.
Yeah.
Competitive knockout round trophy, because that's something we haven't done yet. So agreed. I do believe that they're going to find a way. Deserved or not, what is deserved in this world? Let's be honest. The way things broke apart last year, it's all a jumbled mess, anyways. Hooligan Ox, he's predicting, dude. You're scaring me, sir. We are taking MLS Cup this year.
Ooh, man.
Dude, he's saying the quiet parts out loud. Come on, Ox. You're killing us with this, dude. Don't jinx us, man.
Thinking
If we
really
don't, Ox,
ahead.
I'm coming for you.
You know what, man? I hope we do it. I hope we do it like against KC, right? And at least in the semis, knock them out and then take it on, and just to make them cry, because it's fun doing. Honestly, I do want Seattle in a knockout game. I will say that. I want revenge against them in the knockout rounds. No doubt about it. We need those guys. But I'm feeling good. Anybody not feeling good about this from the panel? You guys worried about it at all?
No.
Burke said he said he really wants to know who the next kit sponsor is. And yeah, we were trying to get out of Pat last week, but Pat wasn't giving in. So
he wasn't, but the news of the day was from Pat. He's like, dude, they're quoting me. Yes, I'm quoting you, sir. He did let off a nugget. Everybody before that conversation was talking about, are we going to have a kit sponsor? And from what he said was not, are we going to have it, but what is it going to be? That was a revelation last week's episode, I will say. And he's like, dude, they quoted me. Yeah. Right? So it's happening, right? And he did say what, Cesar? What did he say about that sponsor? When's it going to show up?
He didn't say when, but he said they're a strong partner, strong sponsor. He said in the next 2 weeks. He didn't say when exactly, but if you kind of read into that, I would take it in 2 weeks, literally from that from the last episode. So we're a week away, I would say, from getting some news here. So I'm gonna say by next Tuesday, I think we'll have something.
Yeah, or the Thursday news drop, right, guys? That we technically always get is the Thursday news drop. So I would feel I do have this sense that something cool is going to drop next week. I mean, everybody in the league, basically, Adidas has tossed their jerseys on the website. We're the only one where it's like, what are they doing? So I can't help but feel like next week would be our moment, right? And of course, we'd have to be dramatic and be the only ones with a debut next week. That would make perfect sense. So yes, Roberto Espinoza is correct. Pat was a rock in last week's episode. We were absolutely blessed to have him on. And strong, yeah. Burke Fournier said strong. He's right. When I hear strong from a club official, calling Pat that sounds really weird. Right. But when somebody says strong, that means deep pockets, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone with backing, a nice balance sheet. So
yeah, it's not some random billboard and fly-by-night operation or somebody trying to sell you into a pyramid scheme or get you on diet pills or liquids or weird things like that. No, something that sounds stable and maybe reputable. So, am I talking smack about somebody again? Maybe I am. Yeah, I can't help but feel confident because when they say strong or stable or things like this, they back it up. So I feel good. Hooligan Ox says, can it have something to do with the sponsorship? Is that the reason they are taking forever to release it? Yes, Ox, I think that was a suggestion last week. Without a doubt. I think that's the conversation is you got to get it right. You don't want to release jerseys without anything if something's going to come out that way. That's going to be really weird, though, how they're going to pull that distribution off. But, yeah, why are you going to? So think about this, guys. They release the kits. There is no sponsor. Then they get a sponsor. Then they have to re-release kits or bring them out on the market with a new sponsor on there. Are you going to do that for every kit? Like, good. I mean, just think of the marketing side of that. That's going to be weird. So you might as well just play it the right way and release a one-time release, knowing what it's going to be. Save a lot of people a lot of money. I know I would love a blank kit. Don't get me wrong. But for the health of my club, that's probably not the healthiest thing in the world to happen. So I'd rather be patient and have the right things happen for these guys and get the right finances out of this thing. Victor says Fly Emirates sponsor LAC versus Real Madrid 2022 Club World Cup. I don't know. Would you guys be all high on Emirates?
No.
I don't think so either.
I have a friend. She works there, so maybe that's the case. She could hook me up with a jersey or something.
Well, I don't know. I see certain player signings. Airlines seem to be something that want to sponsor things these days. So I know people are going to fly soon, and we already have an airline sponsor. So if I'm going to play the logical game, could it be Delta Aero Mexico? Who knows? That's deep and stable, right? Maybe. We'll see. I've always said I don't like insurance companies. It's just the thing with me. When I saw Newcastle change from the brown ale to insurance, it was a sad thing to see. So I don't want us to go that route, but that's me. Any other predictions or funny guesses? You think, that would be really cool if it happened?
No. Tourism Australia.
Tourism Australia.
I mean, we have what Arsenal's going with Rwanda, right?
Yeah.
So hey, it could happen. It could happen. We'll see. Any favorites that you'd say, dude, we would kill it if we got that sponsor?
I seen the mock version of the Tesla one, but that's just because I like Tesla, but it also looks pretty sweet. But I think something I would like a LA based either
a brewery.
Something LA based for sure.
Like a San Diego Loyal, that their jersey's sweet.
Stone,
Stone, that's a sweet jersey.
Yeah, you couldn't get closer to like perfect, right? It's as local as it gets. It would be like somehow the Revs pulled off Sam Adams or something, right? I mean, it's screaming local. There it is. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think Angel City's, gonna do that, even though they're kind of owned by Sam Adams. But you never know.
So here we got some interesting comments here. So Julian Knox says, instead of releasing the kit, they released that overpriced boombox. And then Roberto proceeds to say maybe the boombox is a hint.
That's what I was thinking is could you imagine the boombox company being our sponsor?
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, would they add $100 to the kit price? Because that's $100 higher than I'd expect for any boombox. But yeah.
Oh, you get a season ticket, you get a boombox.
You could get us a cheaper version, like
I think it's like 400 and something bucks. I think I saw
like a season ticket. Yeah. Agreed.
San Diego Loyal kit. Yeah, it's
probably the best.
Best USL jersey.
Exactly, Jason. Best USL jersey by far right now.
Jerry. Jerry can hook us up. Hey,
oh my gosh, Jerry's alive. See, we summon the loyal and Jerry shows up. There he is. The Podfather is on here. And yes, this guy, he's got like the special edition like Stone kits. And yes, we were all saying, Jerry, yes, Stone is Yeah, Stone is the one, right? I mean, it looks like a great sponsor. It fits their city perfectly. So, yeah, 100%. By the way, those gloves look on point. So, yeah. Season holder ticket gift from Ox for that boombox. Well, maybe if they can make a miniaturized one, we might have a fighting chance. We shall see. It would probably be a transistor radio, if y'all know what those are. But there it is. The branding would be hilarious.
I listened to many Vince Scully Dodger games on transistor radios as a kid. So,
dude, I remember this was like the hookup of hookups, man. It was a giveaway. When I was going radio giveaway day, do you remember those at Dodger games?
Oh yeah,
and it would be a baseball transistor radio.
Yep, I have. Yep.
I still have it hiding somewhere. It was like the coolest thing, and yeah, it was an AM only too, which was a crack up.
I had one. It only played the Dodger station, so of course, during the Dodger games, listen to Vince Scully.
Yeah, Vince Scully and a little baseball. Now, could you be Max Bretos or actually Dave Denholm, right? In a mini soccer ball. Ideas, guys. Right? We have an AM channel. It could actually work, except everything's HD these days. So there goes that.
So does anyone know the brand to the boombox?
I'm gonna look this up because I can. Right? It is. God, it's so expensive too. I'm not trying to talk too much smack, but it's too rich for my blood. That's for sure. Let's see, away day or a boombox, guys? What are you gonna go with?
Away day.
Away day.
Right?
There, I found it. It's $430. Boombox, flares, Bluetooth boombox. $430.
What is this thing? What's the brand again?
Bump box.
Bump box. Yeah.
Bump box. So I was hearing that they're like insanely loud and clear and like pretty much like the standard bearer for boom boxes. But dude, I think I'm gonna go to Lowe's and just get spray paint and just jack up one of those boxes. Go, well, there's mine. So there it is. Yeah, dude. Brutal. Boombox coupons. Not happening, Ox. I just think this thing looks pretty high end. 30%.
And you can't apply the 10% season ticket holder on top of that.
Well, dude, I mean, those of us that were in rarefied air last year with the Bank of California card gotten that double, triple discounts. Fineness going on at the store. Like, it would have been affordable at that point, but Bank of California is bye-bye. So they're a sponsor only in name now, and so even their card perks are gone.
No.
You guys for that. Yeah, so I don't get to take advantage of that. But yeah, let's see. Let's see a season ticket holder discount that's really lovely for the boombox, because then we might play ball. Yeah. Away day. What is away day? Away day.
They're choosing away day over the boombox.
Yeah, so away day, right? Boombox or away day? Boombox or away day? Away day.
Away day.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do one last year and didn't happen.
It's right. I mean, Leon was the last run for most of us. So
I had Portland all planned out, staying with I was going to stay up there for a week for friends of mine, and didn't happen.
Dude, with these cheap fights on Southwest right now, I mean, who doesn't want to go visit Ox in Kansas City?
Me.
Here we go. Yeah.
I've done it before. I'll do it again. Bowling in Kansas. Yes, it's happened. Away Casey. Yeah, away Casey would be like, let's do this, right? Now Ox is talking about away days again, and we miss you, Ox. Definitely, we miss your dad too. We'll get there one day. I know they can get a crowd, and a couple LAFC fans snuck in, I think, last year or something. Or no, it was Seattle or Salt Lake, right? We were sneaking in away days, so who knows? All right, so any other conversations that we need to talk about? We got the rosters. We know Bank of California, the name's going to stay on until we get a new sponsor, so that's another financial situation that we need to get taken care of. Of course, now it brings into the listener conversations. And yes, Jerry says, still the best away day for my family in Seattle. Oof. Agreed, because, hey, who did I hang out with on that first night? That's right, Father himself, Jerry, went out to a museum and Space Needle as well, I believe. So, agreed. It was the best away day ever. There will be betters. I mean, Leon was pretty special, but I always like to say, what's the best LAFC match? The next one.
Yeah.
What's the best away day? The next one, right? That's how you gotta operate. That's how I operate. So, yes. Anybody else with conversations from the panel or from our comments? Throw it out to us now. You're getting your last opportunities before we call this one. Comments, guys. Throw them out there. Questions, please throw them our way. Now it's live panel time.
I do have to say that former LAFC player Marco Urena, scored his first goal for Central Coast Mariners last weekend.
How many games?
I saw that goal. It was a nice header. I think it was.
It was. That's his first goal, but he's done about 3 assists to Matt Simon so far this season, so it's quite good.
Reminds me a lot of when he played for us, right? Not appreciated as much because the finishing wasn't there, but dude, creating space and doing the work off the ball is really what made him who he is. Ooh, here goes the pod.
Yeah, he's down in San Diego. I know Jerry's happy. I know I heard Jerry on a podcast talking about how he wanted Guido in San Diego for it's a solid thing. And well, now you got him. So happy for Guido because now he's going to be able to play all the time.
Yeah,
it's good for him.
He did well when he was there already. So this only makes sense, and it kind of feels like home for him anyways. He played for TJ for a while, so all good, man. Like again, I wish nothing but the best for him. I'm a little sad that it didn't work out with us because I've always rated him highly, but it didn't. But now he gets this chance down there, and I know he'll do quite well. Roberto Cernoza says, if we don't play in the U.S. Open Cup, do we get an excuse not to win MLS Cup? No.
Yeah.
No, we don't. It sounds crazy, right? But I just can't help believe that the target this year is actual cup. Like, oh no, not a deep run in the playoffs. We'll get to a final. No, it's winning the whole thing. That's expectations. It's that simple. Anybody else on that? Are you in the same boat as me? Like, the cup is the expectation, right?
Yeah, it's that's it. There's no other. Yeah, I think a lot of fans, I think, will jump off the ship after this season if they don't win the cup.
That would be like not going to be me. I'm in no matter what. We lose every game. I'm still going to be like going crazy in the North End.
Definitely.
They represent my city. I'm here till death. So most of us are. I mean, those that want to leave, we're going to have those years, and those fair weathers are going to go, but the core will remain. That's for certain. But this year, no, man, that's MLS Cup. We're built for MLS Cup. It has to be MLS Cup. They're like, dude, don't put. Yes, I'm putting pressure. It's time, guys.
Yep.
This is the year.
We play US Open Cup, we get 3 trophies. We don't play US Open Cup, we get 2 trophies.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put us since we don't have international matches. I mean, is Supporters Shield out of the question either?
Nope.
No, right? We're in it.
Yeah.
Seattle had a bad injury, so it's going to be a while before they get really back to their full tilt. So we could take advantage of that. It sounds crazy. And then, our noisy, annoying neighbors, they're signing guys that just had hamstring surgery. So they think they're still out in the woods too. So, dude, come on now. Vector D. Lopez, Alice Cooper in the Australian background.
No, that's just Ed.
Is Ed haunted? Just a thought.
No, he's motion sensor. So when we have him plugged in on Halloween, he's at the front door.
Well, it looks like somebody's home every day, so that's a good thing.
It is.
Scare the heck out of everybody. Watch it turn its head while he's talking right now. That would just be epically awesome. And it's like, see, once again, everything's trying to kill you in Australia. Yes. Good stuff. All right. Final thoughts, anybody? Roberto Espinosa says, I honestly think we have the scariest lineup in the league. I would agree. I think MLS Extra Time almost said that. They said they were number 2 compared to Columbus, but I think we're deeper. Don't you guys think we're deeper than they are?
Yeah.
Yeah. They lose Ella Ryan. I don't think they're doing much. Just my thought. The other one we have from Antonio Hernandez. Hey, brother. Who will be the breakout star this year? Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a very good question.
I know.
I had Christine. We haven't heard from Christine in a little bit. Take the lead on this one. You go for it. Who do you want to see?
I think breakout stars. I don't know if he's really breakout because everyone's expecting Kim to do well. Kim, obviously. I think Baird is going to do really well. And if by any chance any of our draft picks gets any minutes whatsoever, I hope that they do have a good game. So, yeah, I mean, based off of those very few photos we saw, it looks like they're training hard. But if anybody catches the actual training sessions, maybe you guys can let us know how they're looking. But yeah, for my money, I think that's what I'm looking at.
Kim for sure.
Yeah.
If I'm going to say it, I think it's going to be Corey Baird.
Mm-hmm.
I think the service he's going to get compared to this club, to the other one he was at. Yeah, I know what he can do, and I think this is going to be a great year for him. So that'll be my choice. Heartstrings, Cici Uche, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think with his story and all that he's been through, it would be really great to see him make the squad and even make it to the 18 every once in a while. That would be really awesome to see that story play itself out. Jason, who would you say is going to have the breakout this year?
I think I was going with you, Corey Baird. I think I had mentioned last week. Just he's in a new environment. The environment he's in now is so much better than he was in Real Salt Lake. Being home too. This is where he grew up. He's going to have family around. He's going to feel much more comfortable. I think Bob Bradley's system is going to really fit him well. It's going to be less pressure on him too because you got Vela and Rossi. So he's not going to have all the pressure to score all the goals. So I think he's going to really kind of come out this season. He had that Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago, but like we had mentioned before, the last year in Salt Lake City was just insane. Anyone who had to be on that team just probably went through a lot with that ownership and just with everything. So I think he's really going to come out this year.
Yeah, and the little bit that we heard from him in the Max conversation, and then the conversations that he's had with Tristan, he's coming in the right mindset. It's good. This is good. Cesar, any other standouts to you?
I'm gonna go with Sifu. I think he played well last year. I think this year he's gonna be like our other Atuesta, who's gonna just dominate the mid next to Atuesta. I think that they're the perfect partners. I think they're the best duo in the league as far as like center mids go. I keep mentioning in every pod, I think we're still missing that third middle piece, but I think Sifu's gonna be what Atuesta was to us a couple seasons ago.
Definitely,
and last season, but yeah,
he already had the breakout. I think in moments that
he was good, but I think getting that MLS experience, getting that CCL run, I think we're gonna get to me he was here and he's just gonna take it to the next level this year.
Think we're gonna see more from Palacios this year?
And Palacios, that was my second option. I think Chiqui's run at the CCL. I think I think it's what everyone thought we were going to get in MLS. I think this season he's like, okay. I think it was a confidence booster for sure. Those 3-4 matches at the end of the year. So I think for all these guys, I think it's for the whole squad. I think this year is going to be much different.
Agreed. Let's see. Hooligan Ox says he's excited to see Moon. I think we can all agree to that. Conversation was, will he be our starter? I'm going to say yes. I'll jump out on a limb and say, yeah. You don't bring a kid in from that far out and for the money he's getting signed for to sit him on a bench.
Yeah.
Anybody else on that one? Think otherwise? Think it's going to be Blackman?
I just think that you don't know till they start training. And I also think that Bob doesn't just start people because of their costs. He's going to go with who he thinks is training the best. That's it. I hope he starts. So, yeah.
Good take. You're right. They got to earn their place. That's for sure, especially in Bob's system. You are absolutely correct on that. Let's see. We've got Leone brought up by Victor Lopez that he's a beast. Sifu, the rocket shooter from Hooligan Ox. Roberto asks, do you think Sifu is Atuesta's replacement if he's moved on in the summer, maybe?
I don't think much of a replacement. I think for one, he's going to be irreplaceable. I think we've seen that with the games where he's been missing. He is going to fill some of that void, but I think we're going to have to go and sign a midfielder who's going to like impact the game right away. I don't think we're going to go find another youngster and develop him into or at least we shouldn't have that patience this season to go and find someone and develop them and expect them to be our next Atuesta. So if he sold in the summer, I'd expect LAFC to go use that DP spot on the center mid, like, you know, a 27, 28-year-old who's going to be a game changer. So,
yeah, I mean, Atuesta plays well above his age, let's be honest. And I don't think Sifu, I don't think they even play the same type of role.
Yeah.
Really. I don't. I think there's a different. Sifu is one of these guys that's really good at bombing it in and really making it hell for the outside backs when he really wants to. Like, when he's going, it's a different vibe. And Atuesta's never given me that vibe at all. Is to terrorizing back lines with overlapping runs. Like, it's not his thing. It's more of I control the tempo of a match. I keep guys where they need to be. I'm there at the right time to intercept. So it's a very different role they play. It would have to be another type of Atuesta where you just need a controlling man out there that does the grinder work. That's not the prettiest thing in the world, but gets the job done. Definitely. I think it's a different vibe. Sifu has his side, right? I don't think he's going to get slotted into Atuesta's spot if Atuesta moves on. You need another player for that. Mm-hmm. And maybe Janela is the one that they're trying to groom for that role. We'll see. Hard to ask for Janela, but I think that might be his role more than anything else. So, let's see. Anything else? Bob is gonna bob. Yes, Jerry. Bob is definitely gonna bob. We love Bob for that, though. Honestly, it makes us a little different. Any other comments to add? Looks like we've hit that moment, guys. So let's move on to our final thoughts. And of course, the guest of the day gets to open that one up, Brendan. So I'm going to give you your final thoughts, sir. Fire away.
It's going to be a long weekend this weekend, so got some interesting stuff planned. Going to go to 3 FFA Cup qualifying matches tomorrow. So hopefully see some nice games there. Thank you very much for having me on today. And just remember, everyone, don't wear a mask for yourself. Wear it for your family.
Exactly.
Good point.
Thank you, brother. Excellent point. On that note, we're going to move on to the punk himself.
Couldn't have said it better. As our friend from Australia said, we are so close to being able to get back to normal life. So everybody just continue to wear those masks. It's not too much longer. If you can get vaccinated, do it. We're so close. We can see it now. For a while, we just couldn't see it. Now there's like a glimmer of hope. Working at a school, we see kids coming back. My daughters go back. My kindergartner goes back in 2 weeks. My second grader goes back in a few weeks. Junior hires might be coming back next month. So everybody, I mean, I know this isn't football, but this is football because we can get back to football stadiums if we can just continue to do this, man. So everybody take care and sleep well. Although our Brendan, he's not going to bed, so we're going to be going to sleep right after this.
He's going to be tucking us in for the night. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, I like to watch.
And your buddy behind you too.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to jump on to Cesar now. Go for it, brother.
Yeah, but now just everyone stay safe. Keep doing what everyone's been asking for, and keep, like everyone's mentioning, keep wearing your mask. We're so close. Other than that, have a great weekend. We hope to have some, awesome news on the next live show. We'll have hopefully a jersey and hopefully a schedule, So other than that, just peace out, everyone.
Thank you, brother. On to Christine.
I think that just thinking about this next year, we should expect it to be a transitionary year. So don't expect everything to go smoothly, especially when it comes to the club and the league. So I think having that expectation will kind of help mentally. But also, I think it's just been really cool to see how the club has been making moves and adapting with this news with, Las Vegas Lights, with the Real SoCal partnership. And then I heard John Thornton talk about how they're tracking 3 academy players right now, similarly to how they signed, how we signed our first 3 homegrown. So it's really cool to think how the club is thinking big picture, really planting seeds. And despite, all the COVID stuff and all the hiccups that we've had, he said that we were tracking Kim for 18 months. That's how long we've been trying to get him. But because of COVID and other complications, we were only recently able to get him. So a lot of faith in our front office staff. And let's just be patient and then hopefully get into those stands soon.
Well said, Christine. No doubt they've earned our faith, I believe. You're right. And to hear 3 more could get a call up, that's insanity. That's 6 players in 2 seasons.
Be really cool.
Oof. That you don't see that from big clubs. Like, no, that's hard. That's rare. So let's hope it pans out. That'll be really good. So I guess that leaves me for my final thought, guys. I will say this first and foremost. Thank you to my panel once again for doing what you do, coming in late nights with me, dealing with me all week and all my little insanities and quirks. Beyond thankful. Christine just like holding it down on Instagram for us now, really building up our social media to the point where it needs to be. Cesar coming in, playing the mixer extraordinaire for me every night that we do this. I can only do so much. These guys just taking it to the next level. Punk always coming in, doing what you do, giving us the honest word, man. Again, thank you guys. You're absolutely amazing. And of course, at the last second, jumping on to LAFC Australia himself, Brendann Matthews. I'm like, hey, this guy's got a story. It's the 3-year anniversary. You want to come on? He's just like, yeah, sure. It's my lunch break. It's all cool. And here he is. So thank you, brother, for all the years of having my back and being a part of the Black Army family and LAFC family and earlier. Dude, it's just a pleasure to have you on here. It's only a matter of time.
Oh yeah.
But dude, thank you, man. This is super cool, and definitely we'll be having you on for more as the news comes. And of course, if you're coming out here, we got to know that early too, so we can set some things up as well. On that note, I'm going to throw it back to you guys, the guys that come in here in the middle of the night in the oddest hours possible to listen to our show. All of you still on right now. Thank you for your devotion to what we do. You are the reason why we do this. Those of you that listen to the pod, keep it up, guys. It's awesome to know that you're listening to what the crazy things we have to say, but you're in here for the long run. We're going to do our best to make it as good as possible. Please give us the feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't. I know we do marathon pods, but once a week, I think that kind of makes sense. We want to get a little shorter. Tell us, we'll make it shorter. It's cool, especially on the pod side of things. But as long as you guys are loving what we're doing, we're going to keep doing it the way we do it. Thursday nights, 10:30. That is the standard. We'll do that again next week. Again, we'll see you all. Get your shots. Get that in the arm. Make it happen. Wear your masks so we can all get back to the ground where we all want to do. And, of course, go on our away days. So on that note, I'm going to say it and wrap it up. Everybody, stay golden.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.